What is up, everyone? Hope you guys are all having yourself a fantastic Tuesday. We got three special guests with us. We got Mr. Ben, we got Taronica, we got Keely. There's going to be a special training. More of, I wouldn't say more of a training, but more of like a podcast. So essentially, one of the biggest things that I've, found and, I could see, for Keely, Taronica, but you guys can speak on this as well, is the importance of client success, right? So not only working with a client, but making sure as well that you give as much value to them so they can, see exactly, the results that you can get and, potentially just making sure as well that you give them as much results as possible to making sure as well that they're fulfilled and they're happy. So essentially what this podcast is going to be about, everyone, for those of you who are watching this right now, is really where we're going to be giving each other, insights and giving you guys insights as well. And, for all of us as well, different perspectives on the importance of client success. All right. So for those of you guys who don't know, Mr. Ben. So Ben is
Oh, man.
a copywriter as well, of course. Ben, if you could kind of like introduce exactly who you are, this way everybody knows that are watching right now, who knows exactly what you do as well, who you help.
Yeah, so I'm Ben. I'm from Connecticut, and I hopped in this group probably around like June, right, Nick? Around June. And I got a free trial a few weeks ago, or about like a month ago. But unfortunately, that client kind of slipped through. But I had another client that recently came in my actual work. So I've been kind of doing some like startup work for him because he's been trying to scale lately. So that's kind of what I've been doing on the side lately. So, and then kind of just looking for other clients in the meantime. So
Very cool. Very cool. Love that. Love that. Love that. Yeah, man. I think as well, like even in terms of the new client that you're working with right now, I know you just started working with him, which is good. I think the biggest thing now is we just continue to focus on what we're doing. And we'll be talking that as the podcast goes.
yeah,
But no, it's exciting. Love that. Cool, cool.
yeah, no, I love
Um,
working with him.
what'd you say, Ben?
I love working with him.
Love
Good
that.
kicks. Yeah.
Love that. Love that. For sure. For sure. And then Taronica, if you can introduce yourself. I know for those of you that have seen a few interviews, I know I've interviewed Taronica a few times before. But if Taronica, if you can introduce who you are, who you help as well.
Yeah.
And yeah, introduce yourself.
Hey guys, so I'm Taronica and I am from Texas, currently living in Kansas, and I am obviously a copywriter, but I'm also a full-time worker as well. So I'm doing copywriting on the side. Hopefully, not hopefully, it will happen soon enough. I will just be a full-time copywriter. So, but I help people in the service arena. So people that help other people. So business coaches, spiritual coaches, people like that.
Love that. Love that. For sure. For sure. Very cool. Very cool. And Keely, for you as well, kind of introduce exactly who
Yeah.
you are and, really who you help too.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. So I'm a copywriter as well. I mean, obviously we all are here, but yeah. So I help business owners, entrepreneurs, and the like with their copy. I have a couple clients in the private equity space. And then I've also helped like kind of a spiritual healer type coach in the past.
Very cool. Love that. Love that.
Yeah.
For sure. For sure. Well, let's kind of get everything rocking and rolling, guys. So the first question that I have for all of you, what do you feel like client success means to you in terms of getting your clients results? So Ben, let's start off with you. What exactly does client success mean to you, my man?
To me, it's just giving value, like as much value as you possibly can until, it's you mainly just have to give them as much value until they just pay you. I mean, for me starting out, like you guys can like chime in, but for me, when I first started, like I felt that I wasn't good enough and I wanted to kind of, pitch my services for free. And then once I get like really comfortable with that, you know, that confidence kind of builds like the more that you write the copy. And then once like you think that you're a little bit more valuable to, serve that client, so that's like just, giving them as much value as I possibly can is really what it comes down to. I mean, like you kind of touch on it like toward the whole like, beginning. So
Yeah, for sure. And I 1000% agree with that aspect as well. Like, you giving value, and giving value just to make sure as well that the prospect feels like you're not only helping them, but ensuring as well that they feel like they're fulfilled with your work as well. Right.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, for sure. And building that, that whole like friendship dynamic, because like a lot of people like to take it seriously. And I mean, at the end of the day, you're not working with HR, like you want to have that good connection with somebody. And if it's not a good fit, like it's not really worth it, So
For sure, for sure. And Veronica, what do you feel like for you? Like, what exactly does client success mean for you as well?
So kind of on a similar note, as far as giving as much value as you can. So when you get your clients, or in my case, when I got my first and my second client, we talked about, what it is exactly that they wanted me to help them with. So one case, my first client, she wanted help with Facebook content, Instagram content, and emails. And then as time kind of progressed, I've been working with her for about 2 months now, going on 2 months. So as time progressed, she kind of want to help with a lot of other things too, and not particularly in the copywriting realm, but that didn't stop me from, trying to help. So I did my own research and things and figured out other stuff for her as well, as with her website, making sure it was audited correctly. I saw some things on there that could have been fixed. So I actually logged into her website for her, got it fixed for her. But that's the only thing I've done with her website as far as that goes. But everything else has been content and email marketing. So, and then my other client, she's a lot different. She's a business coach. And so she really wanted help on her LinkedIn space as far as post goes. And if she was posting good enough, she didn't know. So she was actually posting like 3-4 times a day. And so when I went through and, researched the algorithm and things, I found out that, hey, you're not supposed to post that much. It only needs to be posting, one time a day, honestly, like one time every 24 hours when you're supposed to post. So the algorithm doesn't feel like you're spamming them pretty much. And so she was like, oh my goodness, I've been doing this wrong the whole time. And I was like, yeah, it's okay. We'll get it figured out. So I've been helping her optimize her LinkedIn page as well, her profiles that goes to make sure that people actually see her. And so I think as far as client success goes, as long as they see that you're going above and beyond for them and not just sticking to, the regular everyday copywriting thing. And then also, as Ben was saying, like the connection piece and just really being a real, basically a friend to them and feel, where they can feel like they can reach out and talk to you about pretty much anything as far as business goes. And they don't feel, like, oh, should I ask for this? Is she going to feel? No. So just making sure that connection is good and just going above and beyond and really, really, trying to figure stuff out for them and pretty much just making sure that you're doing it for them and giving them a lot less work as far as their business and content and social media pages go. So.
Love that. I love that. And one key word that you said is connection.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So really, and even Ben as well brought this up, value, connection, right? Building that solid connection, because again, like, of course, they hired us to ultimately write their copy. But again, like, we don't want to feel like we're, just this worker just doing what they have to do to just work for the client. Right. We want to build that connection with them, build that friendship with them. This way, once we build that connection with them, they now trust us a lot more, and we can, again, build that friendship for the long term, whether it be, that connection could lead to more clients coming in the future, where that could be a referral, but something that allows us to build for the future.
Yeah, and just showing that you're human, because sometimes things happen and you might, late for a meeting or something, or totally forget about something, or late for a post or whatever the case may be, but they understand because you made that human connection with them, so they don't feel like, oh my goodness, she missed, what is she doing, she's a robot, come on. But no, if you make that connection, it won't be, a whole ordeal about the whole thing. They'll understand and you'll be able to come back from that. It won't be a fail, basically. So
I love that. For sure. And for you, Keely, break that down. What exactly does client success mean for you?
Honestly, everyone touched on really good points so far. So just want to reiterate that first. And I just feel like I don't want to say under promising with that idea of like over delivering, which everyone is referencing, is like giving them making sure you're meeting their expectations, like doing what you said you would do, whether it's increasing views on a post or increasing your followers or leads or whatever it is. So meeting those metrics and also trying to go above and beyond the metrics as well, if you can. So yeah, just giving like seeing, I feel like writing good copy is huge, but with the best copy, you're going to see an uptick in like viewers and followers and all of that good stuff. So trying to get them those metrics too. A lot of people in the business space want to see like percentages and numbers.
Love that. Love that. Love that. For sure. For sure. So ultimately making sure as well, like for you, you feel like client success is ultimately just the foundation that's needed to making sure that you exceed to their expectation.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Gotcha. For sure. And I think one thing as well, I know for me personally, of course, like right now I'm not a copywriter, but I think, and I agree with 100% with what you guys all said, from Keely, talk about expectations, Taronica as well, and Ben as well. I think one thing too, in terms of client success, just for me personally, is the journey of where the client first started to the journey to once they started working with you, like the growth that they had as well in terms of business, in terms of, whether it be driving more traffic to their page, whether it be more click-throughs in terms of their emails, but the journey and the growth and the outcome that they've gotten as well. I think that's a massive, massive piece as well, whether it be the outcome and also the growth that they had too. Right. For sure. For sure. And in terms of client success as well, like, why do you guys feel like client success is important as a in the copywriting, as a copywriter specifically? Right. So Ben, if you could answer that question.
Why is it important? Well, I mean, a lot of people think that your reputation ends after like you leave high school, but that's not true. You want to have a good reputation in the freelance space, whether you're like marketer, like copywriter like us, reputation is super important. And I think that the better reputation that you have and that you're good with people, that you work hard, then I think that you can easily get like a bunch of clients. You just have to keep building that network. It's going to take some time, but I'd rather have the long haul to work with clients and just do good work and be honest and just get all my work done for them and just have like a good solid reputation.
So more of the reputation for you.
Yeah, for sure. Just I'll touch on a point that Taronica was saying about, it's really interesting because I've seen a lot of people on like the whole YouTube space say like, even if you're not the best copywriter, but you're a damn good person, then they're going to take you on. Like there's a solid chance that if you're a good person, they're going to trust you more and they're going to take you on your team. So, back to that point, like it's really important to just be known for that guy. And if you can provide value too, I mean, you're going to be a solid freelancer, so.
For sure. And do you feel like that has helped you with really connecting with this client that you're working with right now? Just the foundation of not only giving value, because I know right now, like you're doing the free trial with them, so you're giving an immense amount of value right now, which is solid, right? But also you just connecting with him, showing your personality, and generally just being you.
Yeah, it's literally just being honest and like with true like intentions, and we both went over a deal too. And yeah, man, I'm super pumped to work with him. So
for sure, love that for sure. And Taronica, for you, like what exactly makes client success important for you? Like why do you feel like it's important for you?
Right. So I feel like it's important for actually both parties in the relationship. So for the person that you're working with, to have that, that success, it shows them that they made a good choice in hiring you and that you're trustworthy and you're actually doing the things that you say you're going to do. That's increasing engagement. If that's whatever you're doing for their business, if you're doing what you said you would do, then that shows that, you're trustworthy and they made a good choice and decision in, hiring you. And then as far as my end goes, just knowing that I can provide that success for my clients, and then it just makes it a whole lot easier to get new ones. So as far as like testimonials go and having that testimony to post on your page, so other people who may be a little skeptical about hiring you or just really don't know because they haven't seen any, human connection with you. So they don't know like, hey, is this person real, basically? So just having that testimonial from them, or even just having a list of things that you've helped them with, as far as maybe it was getting like for one of my clients, I helped her get a podcast just strictly based on her content. Someone reached out to her and was like, hey, I like your content. We're on the same page as far as spirituality and helping people grow. So how about I invite you on my podcast and you can be a guest there? And so that was just strictly off the content. So I feel like as far as success goes, just for both parties, they know that you're trustworthy, they know that you do a good job, and then without you probably even having to ask, a lot of the time people will, if someone ends up talking about, hey, I need a copywriter, or hey, I'm struggling with this X, Y, and Z, you're probably able to come up in the conversation just because you have been given that success and you have been a good person and you have shown them that, hey, you can do it. So, and then like I said, on my end, it just shows that I am trustworthy, and people looking from the outside looking in can know that, hey, maybe I should give her a try. So
1,000%, 1,000%. And again, it always goes back down to the trust, like you brought up. For sure, for sure. And Keely, for you, like, what makes client success really important for you as well? Like, why do you feel like it's important for you?
Yeah, I mean, there's so many reasons. I feel like as copywriters, like we exist to provide the client success. Like that's our core goal, right? It's like I wouldn't have a job if like client success wasn't happening. So it's like number one. But it's also like, I mean, selfishly, personally, it's really satisfying for me to see good results and see client success because I'm making a difference in someone's life. I'm helping their business grow. I'm helping, the person I'm writing for, their clients are having a better life because they're working with them. So it's kind of this ripple effect of like creating good. And also just results speak the loudest. And they also like kind of like reputation. What Ben was talking about before is like your results kind of precede you in a way. And so that's really important. But I just also think like that's kind of what makes copy so special and worth it.
1,000%, 1,000%. I agree with every single one of you in terms of that aspect as well, like what you brought up from Ben talking about reputation too. And I think for me personally, why I feel like client success is important is, again, it just goes back to the outcomes of what can happen after you build that trust. You connect with the prospect as well, and again, it can always lead to more opportunities in the future, right? Like, for example, when I was a copywriter, I personally knew that if I got my clients really good results, they were happy with the work, it's going to be a no-brainer if I ask them for a referral. Why? Because not only did I build their trust, I've given them value, they enjoy my personality, but on top of that as well, since they connect with me on a much deeper level, it's going to be like a no-brainer for them to be like, yeah, for sure, I'll refer you to somebody else in my network because of all the things that you've done for me. Right. So I think, one massive piece about client success is that for those of you that even watch this right now, once you get your clients really good results, there's so much more opportunities that you're just unaware of what could potentially happen. Right. So the main focus, and if you guys could agree with this as well, like, do you guys feel like the main focus for yourself right now, and of course it's, getting more clients, but once you start getting these clients, the main focus is ultimately making sure your clients are fulfilled and happy. Would you guys agree with that?
right.
For sure.
And if they're happy, I'm happy. Like what Keely said, I love what she said about just feeling satisfied and like fulfilled, because that's so 100% true. If I feel like I'm not doing enough and I don't see enough, even if they feel like they are, like they're seeing enough, but I'm not, it's like, okay, let me try harder just because I like the feeling of being satisfied.
Yeah,
so
totally.
I agree.
Yeah.
100%.
Awesome.
100%. And what ways have you guys felt like you've made your clients fulfilled? Like, I know some of you, like, I know for some of you right now, you guys, of course, just starting with your client, but so far the client must be fulfilled in some way if you guys are continuing to work with each other. So what ways have you guys made ensure that the client was fulfilled and they've received some form of results? Right. So Ben, let's start off with you on that
Sure.
aspect.
So I'm a little bit different. I'm more like the marketing aspect of things. I'm helping this client grow within my company because he came in about a month ago and wanted to partner up and scale. But we kind of like are trying to scale right now, and like I'm kind of fulfilling all of his orders. I'm running his copy. I'm doing his Facebook ads, his emails. I'm doing a bunch of stuff for him. I'm doing his inventory. So I think of all this, it's really important just to keep asking, what do you need? And then now he needs some like organic content. So I'm like, all right, well, why don't you give me that so like you can have more time to grow your business, I was on a call with them last night, and I just told them, and like anything that you need, just let me know and then I'll do it for you. Like there's no need for you to do it. Like you just keep growing it and then I'll scale it. Like, it's just that simple, you know. So
For sure, for sure. So it's more of like you just take the instant action for the clients.
yeah.
Yeah.
So like it's kind of like different, but I'm like talking with them every day. I'm like trying to just do like the best I can to help them grow and then just like, just build that whole like connection. So yeah.
For sure, for sure, for sure. And for you, Taronica, as well, like what ways do you feel like you've fulfilled your clients so far in your journey?
Yeah, so specifically for my first client, since I've had her the longest, like I said, we're going on about 2 months now. So just from our weekly calls, how we talk about her wins and stuff. So from email specifically, she says she's gotten a lot of people actually like responding to her emails saying like, hey, I love this, like I'm gonna try this tonight. Like just knowing that what I'm writing is actually like reaching out to people and is actually reaching people and they're actually trying to get and then also, so she told me about that, people replying, and then people also just like sending her DMs on Facebook and saying like how they enjoy her content and um, they just enjoy, like it really resonates with them. So I think those are pretty big wins. And as far as success goes, so she sees like what I'm writing, people are actually connecting to it. And then like I brought up last time or a couple of minutes ago, how she got invited to be a podcast, invited to a podcast as a guest to speak. So that was pretty cool, just strictly from content. And then she's gotten a couple of orders from some things that I've written too, particularly on content as well. She's a therapist, but she also sells like herbal teas and stuff like that on the side too. So she's gotten a couple of sales from those, from content that I posted on Facebook. What else? We had a lot. I mean, just a lot of small things that you wouldn't think or to count as a win, but at the end of the day, it really is because it's something that's positive and something that is a result of something that I'm doing, something that we're collaborating on to do together too. So, as far as client success goes and saying that, I think those were pretty big on her end. Now, as far as the second client that I'm working with, this one has been more. She's a little different. I keep saying that she is. So she has a lot of different areas that she works in. She has like 2 different sites where she works on like automations and systems, and then she has her site where she focuses on like mentorship. And so I've been kind of doing both as far as like LinkedIn content goes. But I'd say the biggest success I've probably gotten for her so far is just the fact that she acknowledges that like, hey, this is really good. Like, and then she's trying out the ideas that I give her as far as like increasing her engagement. So she has a LinkedIn page and she has a Facebook page. And so we've tried to do a poll to see what kind of content that her followers and stuff would like to see from her. And so we did that and we got some pretty decent follows from that, a couple of likes, a couple of comments, and people actually engaging in the post. So that was pretty cool. But as far as anything else, I think that was pretty big. The biggest win for me, at least, is the poll, and then just her acknowledging like, hey, this really is really good. Like, you know what you're doing at the end of the day. So
Love that. Love that. And I know you mentioned before the 101 call piece too. And I want you that, and I think that's a massive piece that you broke down. Elaborate a little bit more about that, because I know for a few of us as well, like we've been doing 101 calls in terms of our offer as well. So kind of elaborate on how you feel like that has had an impact for your clients and really for making sure as well they're fulfilled.
Right. So when I first did my first couple of calls, it was kind of, I wouldn't say rocky. It was more just like, I'm just kind of going through it because I don't know, like I haven't found my rhythm in it yet because like I said, this is my first client. So I'm just going through Nick's template and just asking questions that we have there listed there and kind of building off of that. But as far as the calls go and like how they work, so I would We hop on the call, we start with the wins and see what's happening well. It doesn't have to be something that I did for her. It could just be something that's in general happening well in her business or in personal life. Like we ended up talking about that later down the line because we have their relationship now. So but when it first started off, it was more strictly toward her business and what good things she sees and just really bringing that awareness to her that like, hey, good stuff is happening, even if I'm not the one to do it for you, or particularly I'm not the one helping you with that, there's still good stuff happening from like day one. She was able to let me in on a couple of things that were big in her business. She really didn't take the time. She doesn't really take the time to think about things like that. So she's like, I don't really have to think about this. I'm like, I'm sure there's something. And so when I got, her thinking about it, she started spilling a lot of stuff out that she didn't realize was happening. She doesn't really take the time to like, think about the big picture and stuff that's happened to her. So as far as the calls go in that aspect, it just really helps the bigger picture, honestly. So they get to meet you. They get to see how you talk. They get to see how you work and what kind of person you are, and vice versa. You get to see them and how they are and what kind of people or person that they are. And you get to see how you guys can work together and how you guys can mesh together. Because, every person is different. So just depending on who you're working with, it's going to be different on how you deal with the person or how you write for them or whatever you're doing for them. So you just have to take the time out to actually, meet and talk and really understand the person. So you guys can be at that mutual level. So.
Yeah.
Throwing straight fire. Fire.
For sure. Hey, this is all we do is spit fire. For sure. And I really, really love that perspective as well, that you brought up, Veronica. And I think a massive piece to, of course, client success is communicating with the client. Like I feel like that sounds so basic to say, but it's so important to do though. Because if you're not connecting with the client on a consistent basis, like it's gonna kind of restrict back to not having that relationship that we talked about before, right? So yeah, no, that one-on-one calls is definitely a massive piece as well, right?
Can I say one more thing?
Oh yeah, of course.
Like I have to say this because I feel like when I first started this whole journey, like I felt like I was like what is that word? Oh, how did I forget it? This always happens. Like a person that like doesn't like talking to people, introvert, there it is. So I considered myself that at first, but I'm learning like, hey, you can kind of be both. So I didn't like the idea of like having to hop on a call every week with somebody. I didn't like the idea of it at first, but I'm learning like there's a way that you can make it work for you and the other person. So as far as like the calls go, I feel like you just have to kind of use your energy the best in the best way possible, especially if you consider yourself an introvert. I think you can still make it happen. It can still be workable. It's just, you're going to have to think about ways to like use your energy the best as far as like contact with people, if that makes sense. I don't know if I'm going off the rails right now, but I just feel like there's a way to work with it. Even if you have to shorten the time to 30 minutes and not the whole hour. Do that if that's what make you feel better, if that's what gets you going the whole time and keeping your energy up. Just cut it to 30 minutes and call it a day. But if you can go the hour, cool. If not, split it. And then also just talk to the person that you're working with and let them know like, hey, are you okay if we just do a couple of voice notes over Messenger if you're not down to really talk to me, because sometimes the client doesn't really have time to do that either. So we can just kind of find a way to do it a different way. So I've done that with my first client. We actually, instead of doing a call one week, we just decided to just talk on Messenger and do our voice notes that way. And it worked out perfectly. So I just want to say, like, don't feel like you have to feel pressure to do a call every week. Because sometimes I get in my head about it. I'm just like, oh, I don't really feel like doing this. I don't feel like talking to anybody, but you can make it work. So
for sure. It's about being like adaptable.
Yeah.
Right? So for sure. And again, like even with the one-on-one calls as well, like the sometimes the one-on-one calls isn't necessary every single week, especially when you have content already planned. Like, again, it goes back to just keeping it simple, having voice notes, but just staying in constant communication with the clients, right? Because it's a long-term client at the end of the day, right? Somebody could give you more opportunities, could, that long-term relationship can lead to something else as well. For sure. And for you too, Keely, what do you feel like, has helped in terms of fulfilling your clients as well?
Yeah. I feel like making the most of the weekly calls in terms of like preparing for them beforehand on my end, like what angle can like I suggest that we could take this week for the post. So making the most of the weekly calls in terms of like kind of putting our brains together for new content, like what's working in the past, what's getting the most reactions on LinkedIn, what can we do more of? So that has been good. And then also like the personal connection and making sure that I'm checking in with them and being like, how's this going? What are your thoughts for what we can do this week, or what's going on? That kind of thing. And then just like doing the best job that I can. And like, I always keep tabs on my own analytics for the work I'm doing, because it's fulfilling to me to be like, oh, it's going up. And also just like to make sure like the work I'm doing is working. And then if like it's not working as much like this week, like what can I change for the future?
Love that. Love that. And do you guys all feel like by creating that offer, it has had some form of impact to your client success as well, of you guys structurizing your offer, showing exactly what the prospect is going to get? Do you feel like that has been helpful for really fulfilling your clients' needs too?
Yep, I feel like it's been helpful.
So mine was a little bit different, but I mean, we kind of just like, did a handshake kind of thing, and like agreed on a deal. Like it wasn't like I told him what I do, and then we kind of like started talking like a little bit more, and then he just asked for my help, and we just both like agreed on a deal, and we just had like a handshake. It was that simple, really.
Gotcha. Well, in terms of everything, but you do offer him something,
Oh yeah.
which is still client success at the end, because he's getting some form of value out of it.
Mhm.
Right, for sure. And Veronica, you were going to say something as well.
Oh yeah. Just as far as like the offer go, I have like a lot of things that I offer. So when people see that and I tell them like, hey, you just pick and choose which ones you like me to help you with. And I can do that. So it doesn't have to be the whole long list of things. It could just you pick and we will go from there. Especially with my second client. It was kind of a different thing when I got on with her. So it it started off as kind of a introductional call. We were kind of both talking about, what we do in our businesses. And it kind of started off as a pitch a little bit. So she was talking about what she does for businesses and like how she helps to scale their businesses up to that 1 million mark, and what things you can do to pinpoint that and start at certain steps and move your way up. So she was talking me through that. And then as I was talking to her about my business, as she was like inputting the numbers into her systems thing, she got like very intrigued about what I was doing. And she said she could tell like that I really enjoyed the work that I was doing, and that, that I'm very passionate about it. So that's how I got the offer to work for her. So she actually wanted me to help her. I didn't really have to pitch anything. And so I ended up just showing her, everything that I help with. And she's like, well, I'm not sure on what all I need help with. Like, this is a lot of stuff. So I'm just like, well, look, don't even look at the offer too much. Just think about, as far as like social media goes, is there anything you think you could possibly need help with? Because she has like VAs and stuff that does a lot of the social media stuff for her too. And so she was trying to think about what exactly would be the best place for me to fit into her team. So it ended up being LinkedIn, because like I said, she was wanting a little bit more insight on LinkedIn and exactly what to do and how to do it. And so that's how we got that rolling. So I think as far as like the offer goes, having an open offer, I feel like is kind of the easiest way to go about it, just because people can see that you're flexible in what you do and you're not like stuck on something. And I won't say stuck, because some people like to only be able to do one thing, like that's their thing. But if you're open and welcome to like doing more than one thing and letting your clients know, or your prospects know that, hey, I can do other things outside of this too, then that's great. So just, I feel like being an overall person is good, especially when you're talking to prospects that don't really have an idea yet on exactly what they want help with. So
Love that. So really just being flexible with that.
yeah.
Love that for sure. And for you too, Keely, what do you feel like in terms of your offer? Do you feel like that has had an impact to the trajectory of the client success for you?
Totally. I feel like the offers like what helped me to get the clients in the first place, which like gave me the opportunity to give them a success. So that was really huge. And I think like you create an offer tailored towards like what you can bring to the client and what they need. So when you create an offer that satisfies their needs and also complements your skills, you're kind of optimizing the results from the get-go. So that's kind of cool. Like, because when you create the offer, you're like, okay, like here's kind of like a window into like, this is what I could do for you. This is how you could grow in the offer. And so it makes them want to sign with you. And it also kind of like, you can provide those results for them, obviously, or else you wouldn't put in the offer. And so then you have like meeting their expectations, and then you can go up beyond. So it goes from there.
Solid. Love these answers. All right. And last question. So I know we're getting fairly late. So we can do one more question. So in terms of getting referrals, right? Now, do you guys feel like getting your client not only success, but also making sure they're fulfilled is a valid and great way to ensure that you're getting consistent referrals going through?
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, it's a damn good likelihood that you'll get another referral.
And why do you say that?
I mean, if you provide really good results and he trusts you to do the work, he's gonna go outside of his network or like inside his network and be like, hey, I know this kid Ben. He writes good copy, he's a marketer, and he could definitely help you out.
Love that. And 1000% as well. Like and again, it goes back to ensuring that the client's fulfilled, the client's happy. If they're happy, they just go into their network. Right. And what'd you say, Ben?
It's all that matters.
Yeah. For sure. And for you too, Veronica, do you feel like referrals there's an outcome out of it if you were to get your clients' results?
Oh, of course. Yeah. So like I said, it's a lot easier when you are showing that you can get them results and you are showing that you're, a great human being in general. And just someone that actually cares about what they're doing. It's a whole lot easier to get referrals. And like I said, sometimes you won't even have to ask for it. Like they'll do it just because you're on their mind when they're, talking to, their people or their inside group of people that they, network with. And just if the conversation comes up and they can automatically just, hey, oop, I have Veronica. If you guys are, struggling with that, I'm pretty sure she can help. And even if it's something that they're not sure that I can help with, hey, still reach out to her. She might be able to help. It's just easier. It's just a whole lot easier just to know that you're giving them success and they know that you're giving them success. And so it's just a chain reaction from there. So
For sure. And you've actually had a few, I believe one of your clients actually tell you that they want to give you a referral.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure.
She said she referred me out to 2 other people that said they were like struggling with content and whatnot, and they were about to quit because they didn't know what else to do. And so she told me that she gave them my information and stuff. And so now I don't think I've had anybody reach out to me yet, but I'm not worried about that. If it's meant to happen, it'll happen. So
Love that. I love that. And again, like whether it does happen, it doesn't, but that shows though that if you can make sure your client is happy, you're connecting with them on a daily basis, they will ultimately make you more money.
right.
And give you more opportunities as well.
Because at the end of the day, it's kind of a subconscious thing at that point because you're talking to them every day. Like it's at that point, it's in their brain anyway. So
1000%. And for you too, Keely, do you feel like getting your clients results is it'll ultimately lead to a referral as well?
Yeah, I definitely do for sure. Yeah, I think like they're 10 times more likely to recommend you, like if they like your personality, if you have that personal connection with them, right? And if you're getting them results, then it's like, why not, right? Like this is like the perfect person to work with. So I feel like definitely getting them good results and having good experience working with them along the journey goes such a long way for the future.
I love that. Well, for those of you that are watching this right now, I hope you guys got a lot of clarity. I hope this was valuable for you guys. And Ben, Veronica, Keely, appreciate you guys as always. Did you guys enjoy this like mini podcast that we did?
oh, of
Yeah.
course, yes.
I love it. Cool. Well, again, for those of you that are watching this right now, I hope this was helpful for you. I hope this gave you a little bit more clarity in terms of getting your clients results, building relationships with them, connecting with them, and the outcome of getting potential referrals as well to helping you to make more money and ultimately get more opportunities as well. All right. So Keely, Taronica, Ben. I know we're going to be chatting after this. I'll message you guys right after. But again, I appreciate all three of you guys. And for those of you that are watching this right now, let's continue crushing it as well, guys.
Awesome.
All right,
Thank
guys.
you.
We'll chat soon,
Thank you so
guys.
much.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.